there, roomies! The first video in our series on spies and detectives for our Classroom Intelligence Agency workshop is all about tailing. Tailing, in this case, is about the art of following someone. If you were a detective, you might want to find out where a suspect is going if you think they might commit a crime. Or you might be trying to find out who they work for, or are looking for something they took and are hoping they might lead you to where they hid it. A quick disclaimer before we go any further. Following someone in real life is usually a bad idea. Local laws vary, of course, but you could get in serious trouble by trying to follow someone who you think is up to something suspicious. Either they are, and you've put yourself in a dangerous situation, or they aren't, and now you're the bad guy for spying on someone. If you suspect that someone might be up to something, it's always best to find an adult you can trust or a nearby police officer who can help. Your safety should always be more important than your suspicions. So, now that we know to leave tailing and spying to the professionals, how would they go about it, and what methods do they use? The first step is to research your target in advance. Try to figure out where they might normally go in a day. Do you know where they work? Do you know where they live? Do you know who their friends are? Do they drive or walk or bike? The more a detective can find out in advance about the person they're tailing, the easier it will be. They can choose a hiding place along their normal route to work, for example, after scouting it out. It also helps detectives to know what normal behavior for their subject would be so that they can spot abnormal or suspicious behavior. Next, a good detective needs the proper tools, equipment that can help you capture images from far away or listen in from a long distance. The further a detective is from their target, the safer they are. So having a camera with a zoom lens or a pair of binoculars allows you to see without being seen. A directional listening device can also be used. This type of microphone will only pick up the sounds from directly where you point it. This leads into the next bit of advice for would-be tailors. Keep your distance. The further away you are, the safer you are, and the less likely your subject will be to spot you. A suspect will act very differently when they know they are being watched and are far less likely to do something that could get them in trouble. Remember, a detective doesn't need to follow right behind their suspect. In fact, it's much better to be in a spot where you can keep track of the target's movements without even having to move yourself. An example would be parking a car at the edge of a mall parking lot and observing which stores the suspect enters, then following them at a distance when they leave. And while we're on the subject of cars, detectives can make amazing use of car mirrors to assist in remaining unnoticed. If the suspect can see an agent looking at them, they'll start to wonder who that agent is and why they're so interested. But if the agent watching them is doing so through the reflection of a small mirror among a sea of cars, the chance of being noticed is greatly reduced. Speaking of being hidden, a detective has to dress for the occasion. The goal is to look completely average and forgettable so as not to stand out in any way. Using a backpack wouldn't look out of place in most instances and is a great place to hold all your surveillance gear. Also, carrying a mobile phone is a perfect way to seem like you aren't paying attention to anything else. People standing around talking on the phone is incredibly commonplace and makes it seem like their focus is elsewhere. The final trick of the trade used by detectives in certain situations is the use of hidden cameras to track movements. Cameras are so small these days that they can be hidden in almost anything. A Bluetooth headset, glasses, computer speakers, coffee mugs, smoke detectors, alarm clocks, watches, flash drives, digital picture frames, clothes hooks, fans, pets, just about anything. Having these tools hooked up wirelessly to the detective's computer can not only record criminal activity, but can also alert the detective to any movement the suspect makes and can let them know when they're about to leave. Again, if you want to try out tailing yourself, for fun only, try following someone you know and who knows what you're doing, around a grocery store or on a walk around the neighborhood. The person being followed should know what you're doing, but treat it like a game of hide and seek. If they spot you and wave directly to you, you lose a point. See how close you can get to a score of 0. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick video about tailing. All the sources I used are in the description. If you liked the video, check back for more soon. Until then, don't forget to learn something.